a problem, but I just wanted to let the selectmen know, be aware that that problem has popped up. And
But this is going through the town attorney's office.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically, so the two attorneys should set, I mean, I'll be happy to attend, as I'm sure the property owner will, but the two attorneys involved should work on their calendars and schedule a meeting so that we can sit down and discuss it. Okay. Next, we have old business. Public Safety Building Upgrade Committee. We have, for over a year, had a Public Safety Facilities Upgrade Committee formed to explore the process of upgrading our public safety facilities, which would include police, fire, and ambulance. We've tried to approach the problem in what I consider the right way, as opposed to how we've maybe done it in the past, which is, I know of a property that might work, or this is what we need. We've hired an architectural firm of Jakunski-Humes to do a space, needs analysis. What are the current and future needs of each of these facilities? And that, well, I'll let the architect discuss it, the process. That process has been completed and reports have been given to the members of the committee. And we're now into the next phase of that, is to take a look at what space is available and how that may or may not suit the space needs that we have, what physical spaces are available. That set it up properly, Chief?
It does, yes.
So, nothing further, if you'd like to just sort of address this and let us know where things stand, Brian Hume.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, and thanks for coming tonight, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Maybe I'll do it from over here.
Yeah,
so
that might be the best, yeah.
don't have my
Want to
back.
sit
So
down?
everybody,
You better stand up so you can.
Yeah.
I'll stand. As you mentioned, or I'm Brian Humes, Jakunski-Humes Architects. We're out of Berlin, Connecticut. We've been hired in 2019 to do a feasibility study for public safety agencies in Windsor Locks, those being the police department, fire department, and EMS, also including the offices of the fire marshal, which are located at the fire department. So they were included in the study. When we started this study, we had no preconceived notions of what your needs were in any of these agencies. It was up to us to go in and interview staff and work with agencies to find out, by inspecting what they currently have and finding out what their needs were, to try to come up with square footage needs for a department for tomorrow and 20 years into the future. A lot of this is a little difficult to comprehend, because 20 years into the future for some of these agencies might be difficult, but we wanted to at least put that challenge out there, because if you're gonna be investing in improvements or new facilities, you want to be assured that these facilities are going to last you at least 20 years, and a lot of times they're going to be 20 plus years. So we have concluded 3 documents. One of them is the space needs assessment for the Windsor Locks Police Department, and this was dated June of 2019. And I have copies for each of you. When we concluded the police department space needs assessment, they currently have 9,400 square feet on Volunteer Drive that they're working out of. That 9,400 square feet, as I found in comparing it to what their needs are, comparing it to other agencies of their size in the region. And our database on this is pretty vast, because we've done over 80 municipal public safety facilities throughout New England. So we're coming to this with a lot of experience in doing exactly this task. But the 9,400 square feet was found to be inadequate to serve the current and future needs. And we've concluded that the police department for Windsor Locks should be in the estimate of 20,635 gross square feet. That's accommodating for some functions that they don't currently have space for in their current facility. It gives them the growth both in personnel and in vehicles and in site needs. So we were also concluding that about 1.5 buildable acres is what the needs would be to support the needs of the police department. The next was the Windsor Lyons EMS facility. And this facility is currently over on Spring Street. Also in June of 2019, we concluded a space needs study for EMS. And we thank the ambulance corps for their assistance in putting their needs assessment together. And they are currently working out of 1,268 gross square feet. They do a lot in a very little amount of space. What their needs are for the future, current and future needs is 9,570 gross square feet. So that's detailed in the report that I just gave you.
Operating on a 1268 now, assessed needs of 9,570.
Correct.
So that's a little shy of the mark, aren't we? Okay.
Slightly under.
And if you go see any of these facilities, you'll quickly assess yourself that they're overcrowded, and many areas within those facilities are doing triple duty, quadruple duty, and they're just making it work. And we give them credit for making it work, but it's not working well. In September of 2019, we concluded the space needs assessment for the fire department. And as I mentioned, this also includes the offices of the fire marshal. The fire department are working out of 14,300 square feet. 14,300 is the upper level of the volunteer drive facility. And they're showing a space needs of 23,450. So the differential in the fire department is not as great as EMS or police. And when we're looking at the fire department space needs, a good majority of that increased square footage has to do with the need for additional bay and the apparatus that they're looking to accommodate on that site would accommodate, need to accommodate another bay. Other than that, the office spaces are undersized and inadequate. The meeting spaces are adequate at that facility. This is only one portion of a four-phase approach that we're taking for the public safety facilities. Space needs assessments were the first and what I consider to be the most important piece of what we're doing, because this sets the groundwork for everything to follow. But it's the first of four pieces. The second piece of our study is now a site evaluation study. Now that we know sizes and we know needs, and we're saying both building needs and site needs, now we've been asked to look at 3 sites and determine their suitability to meet the needs that we just determined. They said we didn't have any preconceived notions going into this. We have not drawn any plans. We have not drawn any site plans. So there are no documents yet drawn. We only have produced a space needs assessment. The second piece of it is a site assessment. We have a draft report to give to the committee on the site assessment. And for the sites that we looked at the current site at Volunteer Drive, which is the current site for the PD, fire, and fire marshal's office. We looked at 401 Spring Street, which was the current site for EMS. And we also looked at a private property on Elm Street. And our assessments of all...
Just interrupt, just so there's no mystery in the room. The private site, I don't know the address, but it's a property owned by the Roncari family.
558.
558, 4 something acres, my memory, something like that. And that property has been offered at no cost to the town of Windsor on some conditions, it's the naming and things of that nature. It's a generous offer by the Roncari family if it's used as a public safety facility. So that's one of the reasons that site is among the 3 being considered.
That current site is 4.72 acres at 558 Elm Street.
Just past the brick building, is that open property?
So in concept, you have 3 very good sites for consideration. The third
Excuse
component.
me, Mr. First Selectman.
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt right now. If you remember, at the initial meeting of the Public Safety Committee, that site was withdrawn. They asked to give me, they have 90 days to make a decision. No one contacted me. It's been over 7 months, 8 months since then. That site is not on the table any longer.
Thank you.
So I'll continue. The third phase of our study is schematic design. So this is when we can then apply the needs to a site and now develop site plans and floor plans on how the needs can get accommodated on those different sites. We haven't been authorized to start the schematic design portion yet. We want the site assessments to be completed and accepted. So there's been no approvals to do schematic design, but that would be our next step. And then the fourth step, the final step, would be a professional cost estimate. So we can give you costs, accurate costs, on an accurate description on a viable site to meet the needs. So all of those four components, I envision that if the site assessment is acceptable, we could get schematic design and cost estimates completed by the end of March of this year. So I see that we've done a lot of the legwork so far.
May I ask, just a question, I know in the budget, and it was approved, and there was $50,000. Does the next two steps
Yeah.
also, it's all
All
encumbered
included.
into that
Yes.
50,000? Okay, so
It is.
we have no additional expense, but we can keep moving the ball forward.
It's all included in the original scope
Okay.
and contract amount. So in summary, that's where we are. We still have work to do, but I thank you and staff for helping us out to get to this point.
This was really to bring you up to speed where we are now. So there's still many things to do, so we envision coming back, especially at that time. when-
Sometime probably March or
Probably
maybe
late
April.
March, early April.
Yeah, April, it sounds like, 'cause-
Absolutely.
So any questions? I know you have a big agenda tonight. so-
Great agenda.
Thank you for coming, I appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Chief.
Can the public ask questions of the gentleman?
At this time, no. You're welcome to make your comments during the second public input section of the rules.
Thank you.